started out with the Q, the original Q. Where are we? About there. I started out one of these years ago. I was probably like 20 years old or something like that, working in the camera shop. I thought they were pretty cool, but I was at the time messing around with computers quite a lot. I liked Photoshop and all that, and I didn't really shoot JPEG, so I didn't really understand what these cameras are about. They're okay in RAW, they're not bad, but I think that sort of defeats the whole purpose of them. So I sold that camera. We're now 10 plus years later. I'm doing a trip to Japan, you know, sort of once in a lifetime sort of thing. I'm not I'm not a street photographer. I'm not a travel photographer, but I like to have a camera I can fart around with and, you know, get creative with. And I was coming up with all kinds of different things. And I saw a few videos recently. I think it was Micro Four Nerds, and there's another chap who does some quite good stuff. They're all sort of revisiting the Q series again, and I thought, you know, I should really give these guys a chance. And I bought the original Q, had a go with it, really liked it. Then I bought the Q7 because it has a slightly bigger sensor, and this really did it for me. I think the Q7 is the sweet spot on all of these. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. There are four Qs: original Q, Q10, Q7 and SQ, or SQ1 or 1QS, whatever it is. The first two have got the smaller sensor. The last two are the same camera, just redesigned. Well, I mean, you could say the same about these two. They're the same camera but a redesign. Same camera but a redesign. These two, I think, are the best output-wise. I think they've got the best JPEGs. These two are pretty good, but you know, you're losing that edge. And not to say they're not as good, it's more that I'm more successful with the slightly larger sensor ones. Anyway, so why do I have them? You've got a multi-selector on the front of it that gives you 5 presets. So I have mine set up in a couple of different black and white modes, a couple of colour modes, and then a neutral. And I knew going to Japan, I wanted to actually enjoy the holiday. I don't want to fart around carrying, you know, a proper camera bag. I just wanted one bag with me to have a camera and everything I need for the day. I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to look like one of those maniacs that travels around with these huge lenses thinking they're going to be the next big thing, where in reality, let's be real, the best photos from Japan are from people that live in Japan. You know, Japanese people, they know their area best. I know England best. So why bother bringing all the big gear to Japan, try and get these amazing images that I have no practice doing? It seems silly. Plus, like I said, I'm not a street or a travel photographer. This would just be fun. So I wanted to keep it fun and playful. So I brought the Q7 with, I'm not even in the frame, am I? Here we go. So I brought the Q7 with the fisheye and the standard 50mm lens, or 40mm equivalent on this, and that was it. That's all I had on the holiday, and I thought it was perfectly fine. You know, having the fish eye for a bit of mucking around, bit of wide angle, and the 50mm. That's all you really need, really. Plus, the 50mm's got a flash sync speed of something like 1/2000th of a second, or it can go right up to 1/4000th. You know, so it's quite a creative camera. And I did not want to come home with a whole bunch of raw files and be sitting there mucking around trying to remember, you know, what was it I was trying to get out of that picture or anything like that. I didn't want to have any of that nonsense. I just wanted to grab a camera, look in the field, and just cycle through and go, is it this one, this one, this one? No, that's the one. Boom, click the picture, done. You know, 10 seconds max per picture. It was, you know, I mean, what more do you need? And with this being a slightly bigger sensor, you know, it prints 8x10s, just so easy. There's no, you know, there's no compromise there at all. I can't tell the difference. Here's an example. There was some like autumn colours popping through, and you know, this looks brilliant. Here's another one from the temple. And you know, I'm someone that's really trying to get into printing now, so I actually spend more time thinking about how it will look on the wall rather than, oh, you know, should I take this home and do a HDR or some nonsense with it? I just ain't got time for that. I'll zoom that out a little bit. There we are. So there you go. Just some cityscapes. Walking around early morning. I think I might have 2 or 3 different black and white modes in it, and it just did it all in camera. Easy peasy. It was like shooting, a bit like shooting, was it FP4 again? Like quite inky blacks, that kind of stuff. There we are. There's another one. Oh, I think these tones look brilliant. I'll flick them up on the screens instead of showing actual prints. So, I bought these two prior to my trip, and I bought these two while I was on my holiday because I don't know, I thought they looked pretty cool, and you're only in Japan once, why not? Now, in order, I would say the standard lens, so I think it's, what do they call it, an 8.5? Well, they just number these, so if I just zoom in there, it's like a 0.1 standard. The shield mount lens, and the fisheye. They're the only real ones I would worry about. There's quite a few different manual lenses and automatic lenses that I didn't really think too much to. I quite like the idea of the telephoto. I know a lot of people, especially Blunty, he really liked this lens. Me personally, I didn't really get on with it. Just didn't really match my style. The kit lens, that's quite nice. The standard, because it works out to be quite wide angle on the Q7 and the SQ, like an unusual 23mm. That's quite handy. But I must admit, I don't really use them. So my actual kit looks something like that. I don't really use the other Qs. There's some more decoration, to be honest with you. So between the two latest Qs, the Q7 and SQ, I prefer the 7. This is quite a nice style and looks interesting, but I always want to pick this up and actually use this. It's much more. It's got a nicer grip, plus with the leather pad, and that really finishes the feel. Bit of a goofy set of colours there, but hey-oh, you get what you get. Now, when I'm in England and I'm in an area that I'm familiar with, I do use the shield mount lens quite a bit. When I was in Japan, I didn't really find myself using that. Mainly because when you're on a holiday, you want to kind of capture things as they are, or a little bit more true to reality. But for personal work, this is probably my most used lens on the Q system. The fisheye lens has got quite a nice close focus, so that you can get quite creative with that as well. Also, the best thing about these is the weight. There's nothing to them. They're a standard compact camera size, and unfortunately, recently I'd seriously messed my back up, and I couldn't even hold anything out at arm length. And I had a small job to do at a local company. All their staff wanted their dogs photographed in the Christmas theme, and I was honest with them and said, you know, I can't bring my big gear. It's going to have to be some tiny stuff, but I can definitely do some pictures with them. And you wouldn't believe it, I actually used this for a paid gig. But it's because the flash sync is so high, I just used the onboard flash to trigger the secondary flash to light up the subject. And I was syncing up to about 1/1000th of a second or something ridiculous like that. So I could kill all the ambient light, flash the subject, and happy days. And I could actually kneel down and hold this out at arm's length, and my back wasn't giving out. It was brilliant. And I can't really show you all the pictures they have because obviously it's private. But here's one of the samples, and they were chuffed with that. And I'm not being funny, but when you're doing a paid gig that they're only going to use small pictures, who cares? Who cares what camera you use? It doesn't make any difference. Anyway, they were happy enough for that. That saved my bacon. So yeah, anyone who's going to be doing some travelling, a little bit unsure what to do, I would say try and get hold of a Q7 or an SQ with the standard lens and a fisheye, or if you really want to simplify it, just go with the standard lens, and that will cover everything. That will do your wide and medium telephoto, and you won't miss anything. If you're on a budget, the standard Qs, they're pretty good. You're going to get about 80% as much as you do on the others. The colours all look the same, if I'm honest with you. It's just, I don't know, it's just the Q7s just have a little bit of a better look to them. But these are fun and quirky as well. Although saying that, at 100 ISO with the prime lens, there's no image quality difference. It's more like when you start going up to 400 or things start getting a little bit complicated with the light. But either way, you know, you can still get some pretty quirky colours, and you know, what more do you need for a holiday? I think these are the ultimate travel camera.